And the Democrats, for the most part, are socialists, and unfortunately, they have communists as well. The Republicans, they're not quite socialists. They're no longer actual Republicans, because now America's gone too far left to actually have a Republican. And that is the form of government we're supposed to have according to the Constitution. Yet over time, we have become a democracy, leading us closer and closer and closer to socialism. Eventually, we'll become full-blown socialist, and then the socialists will be in the Republican Party, because the Democrats will have taken the party so far left that most of them will be straight-up communists. And then 20, 30 years down the road, maybe sooner, it's hard to predict these things, then we'll be a lot closer to 1930s Germany. 20 or maybe 15 years would put us at the 2030s, so maybe it took 100 years to push the country that far left. And the best thing about it is America saved the world from democratic socialism in World War II and imperialism. And now you look at the country under the rule of the Democrats and the Republicans. Since then, we're moving a lot closer to a democratic socialist country. And we've already seen the imperialistic side of our country with the invasions of multiple countries and the toppling of governments since 9/11. So the thing we fought against, the thing we saved the world, or our forefathers, the greatest generation. See, we don't have a great generation right now, unfortunately. We have the baby boomers, which are about the most selfish generation there is. We have the Generation Xers, my generations, which is the smallest generation and probably the most forgotten. We're never talked about. When you hear about the different generations, you hear about the centennials, you'll hear about the baby boomers. I mean, we can't even get over ourselves with the baby boomers. And then we hear about the millennials. But how often do you hear about Generation X? But we're on another subject now. That's for a later date. So here, our ancestors, the greatest generation, saved us and the world from democratic socialism in World War II and imperialism. And where has this country been headed ever since? Do you think it might have had something to do with allowing these scientists from these different countries to come in through Operation Paperclip and they infiltrated the government? Don't forget that it was Khrushchev himself on October 12th or 13th of 1960 at the United Nations when he was banging his shoe on the desk saying he was going to destroy, or Russia was going to destroy the West from within. Some loose translations say, "We will bury you." You've got to wonder, with the direction of the country under the two-party system. Remember when McCarthy was thought as a kook, and then all these years later came out that he was right, that there were a bunch of communists infiltrating the government? Gone further than the government, I would think. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. Be right back.
Don't move a muscle. John LeBang Show, right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes!
Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning for a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear. Call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're hanging in there with me. My voice is still not up to par, and I'm doing my best to hang in there. Guess I'm going to finally get to this troll issue. I don't know if I should call him a troll, but when you repeatedly reply to posts on social media, so being in the radio business, you're forced into taking friend requests on these social medias by colleagues and, people that are also affiliated with stations that you're a part of. And sometimes they are a different political belief, and sometimes they're of the belief of whatever the mainstream media gives them. They'll regurgitate it because that's how intelligent most of or some of these people are. This is for you, Tom. I hope you're listening. I know you don't listen to the show. If you would have listened to the show, you would have either sent me off a hate-filled email about something I said in a prior episode, or you might actually break some of that conditioning that you've endured throughout your life. But if you are just happening to listen, welcome to the show. Thanks for taking the time out. I don't know if you're going to like everything I have to say at this point, but, bro, you're a full-blown racist, man. And I want to thank you for proving my points. Where I'm going with this, ladies and gentlemen, is I made a post the day of the election. It might have been the night before. I don't exactly remember. Doesn't matter. Pointing out that if the American people were going to shift back to the Democrats, that they were only going to endure more divide and destruction because it was going to embolden the people who follow that democratic religion there to do even more damage and to cause even more divisive actions, because that's what they would have believed had caused the shift back into their favor in the House of Representatives, that is. They don't know the history of that only 3 times in the history of the country has the president's party retained the House in the midterm elections. So it was inevitable, because the American people only understand the two-party system. A third party might throw off the American people, and that's really bothering me. You come to a point where you start realizing maybe these people will never learn. And that's a sad commentary on the state of the American people. So to get back to Sir Tom here, I'm not going to give you his full name. He's a radio DJ, some sort. I think he has a music program. I don't believe it's political. He might add some political commentary in there. I wouldn't doubt it. His Facebook page is loaded with it. So he begins to comment on my post. I believe he was the first. Actually, one of my longtime friends commented first that she was using my show as last-minute election prep. That actually was really nice. I felt good about that. I was like, wow, okay. So I got through to somebody. Somebody is at least taking the time to go, John LeBang, you're credible enough. I'm going to check out your stuff to fine-tune my election decisions here. So that was one of the heartening things about the everything that happened on Tuesday. But based on everything, this Tom guy, he came at me with racism, genderism, all these isms, none of which were injected by me or anybody else. So it was this Tom fellow who, since that's how he thinks, he sees the whole world in either color, sex, or gender. I mean, that's a sad way to look at the world. because you're not basing it on individuals at all. All you see are groups of people, this group of people and this group. You segregate everybody. And I thought in 2018 we were past segregation. I thought in 2018 we were past looking at a person's skin, but apparently not. I'm not going to regurgitate his words here. I've left it up on my Facebook page for the whole world to see what a true Democrat thinks of people. Because this guy, Tom, and I think he'll agree with this. I don't think he'll say I'm lying at all. He is as hard of a Democrat as there is. He is the poster boy for Democratism. And I think he would take that as a compliment. But here's the problem. The Democrat Party bases everything on your color, like they always have. Back when the day when their people were putting together the Ku Klux Klan, and probably far beyond that, when people like me were coming down from the north to fight the Southern Democrats who had all those slaves in the South. This is what the Democrat Party has always been. It's been about the segregation of not only people of color, but sex, gender, whatever they can find to divide people up into, they will do that. And they keep finding new ways of doing it. It's amazing, but they do. You got to give them credit for that. But this is why the Democrats are bad for the country. Because they only see things with color and gender and any other thing that divides us. They do not look to unify anybody. Oh, they will say that they have all these little subgroups that they created and they've joined them together. And I thought this country was based on the individual. In fact, we are a nation of individuals, not little pockets of tribal groups as the Democrats love to segregate us in. We'll never be the United States. We'll never be a united country as long as the Democrats have power because they emphasize our differences. But an individual doesn't have enemies. An individual believes in freedom for themselves as much as they believe in freedom for someone else, and they don't care if the person's gay. They don't care if the person wears pantyhose in the middle of the night on their forehead wrapped in tape. They don't care about that. They care about the character of the person and how they behave in public. How they treat other people, in other words. How they mind their own business. So let's be clear here. This Tom fella, who's a diehard Democrat, right along the party lines, he could be the poster child for them. He has made it very clear that it is okay to be a racist if you're a Democrat, but not anything else. You can't be a racist if you're a Republican. You can't be a racist if you're an individual. But if you're a Democrat, then it's okay to be a racist. And like I said, folks, I'm not going to regurgitate that stuff here on the radio. To me, it was very obscene. I've left it up for you to go to. My page is available to the public on Facebook. Look me up, John LeBang, and you can go read this person's post. Now, this Tom fellow made it very clear, and because I'm holding him up as the poster boy for the Democrat Party, we're going to use him as the basic example of how they think. Tom made it very clear that he despises the straight, low melanin count male. And the more successful or conservative or Christian they are, the more he hates them. He spews all the worthless babble that you can get on any of the mainstream outlets that I point out daily.